Meghan and Harry, y'all owe me a serious chunk of change, that loan for your Montecito mansion. If it ain't paid back in 30 days, I'll have no choice but to take this to court.
Meghan and Harry, you'll owe me a serious chunk of change. That loan for your Montecito mansion. If it ain't paid back in 30 days, I'll have no choice but to take this to court. It started with a voice slicing through the morning airwaves, steady and resolute. The kind that commands attention without raising a decibel. Tyler Perry, the powerhouse filmmaker whose rags-to-riches tale had inspired millions, didn't hold back on his radio show, that crisp December day in 2025. Meghan and Harry, you all owe me a serious chunk of change. That loan for your Montecito mansion. If it ain't paid back in 30 days, I'll have no choice but to take this to court. The words hung heavy, reverberating across social media and tabloid headlines, shattering the polished veneer of the Sussexes' California idol. For years, the public had glimpsed only the surface, a lavish estate embodying their break from royal constraints, a symbol of self-made success fueled by media deals and charitable ventures. Yet, beneath the sun-drenched facades and Instagram-perfect snapshots, a different story simmered. One of escalating debts, strained alliances, and a friendship teetering on the edge. Perry's declaration wasn't mere venting. It was a calculated escalation, born from months of unanswered, pleasing frustration. Whispers from Hollywood insiders suggested the loan stemmed from Perry's initial generosity, evolving from temporary housing to a substantial financial lifeline during the couple's chaotic transition. As the statement went viral, Iberic questions flooded in. How had a duo once backed by palace fortunes sunk into such fiscal disarray? What web of borrowings had propped up their American dream? Pieced together from leaked documents, anonymous sources, and financial trails, the narrative revealed not empowerment, but entanglement. The mansion, with its sprawling grounds and ocean vistas, now loomed as a gilded cage. Its purchase, a patchwork of favors and obligations. Perry's ultimatum exposed the fragility of their independence, forcing a reckoning that could unravel their carefully curated image. In an era where celebrity finances are dissected like autopsies, this blow felt fatal, hinting at deeper cracks in the Sussex foundation. As reactions poured in, from supportive fans decrying it as a smear to critics hailing it as overdue accountability, the stage was set for a showdown that transcended money, touching on trust, legacy, and the true cost of freedom. Reports from outlets like the Daily Mail highlighted Perry's growing frostiness in interviews where he curtly dismissed queries about his aid, saying there was nothing to prepare them for. This reticence, some speculate, masked simmering resentment over unpaid dues. YouTube channels and social media buzzed with unverified claims of a $16 million showdown, alleging Perry's demand stems from accrued interest and ignored reminders. Balanced against this, Sussex supporters argued its tabloid exaggeration, pointing to Perry's godfather role to lie it as evidence of enduring bonds. Yet, financial analysts noted the mansion's value has appreciated to over $20 million, making it prime collateral. The property's history, once owned by Russian billionaire Sergei Gishin, added layers of intrigue, with its purchase marking the Sussexes' bold step into American luxury real estate. Insiders claimed the initial stay at Perry's Beverly Hills estate in 2020 was more than hospitality. It was a bridge to stability, amid threats and transitions. But as friendships fray under financial strain, Perry's public call-out signaled a pivot from ally to enforcer. The airwaves moment wasn't isolated. It echoed earlier tensions like Perry's acid-tongued responses in interviews where any conversational intimacy evaporated. Social media erupted with exposts debating the fallout. Some users calling it a Christmas nightmare for the couple amid broader scrutiny. The declaration rippled through Hollywood circles where alliances are as fleeting as box office hits, prompting whispers of other lenders watching closely. For the Sussexes, this wasn't just a debt notice. It was a public unmasking pulling back the curtain on a narrative of independence that increasingly appeared propped up by others' goodwill. The Montecito mansion had always been more than bricks and mortar. It was a manifesto of reinvention. A $1,465 million fortress acquired in 2020 amid the Sussexes' Megxit whirlwind. Boasting 9 bedrooms, 16 bathrooms, a tennis court, a rose garden, and panoramic Pacific views. It screamed arrival, a haven for Archie and Lilet, far from Windsor's watchful eyes. But the funding puzzle tells a tale of improvisation over abundance. Public records show the couple secured a $95 million mortgage, but sources allege gaps filled by private infusions with Tyler Perry at the epicenter. Initially, Perry extended his Beverly Hills estate as a sanctuary when the Sussexes fled Canada, providing not just shelter, but security amid death threats. A gesture he later described in interviews as born from empathy for their plight. Yet, insiders claim this kindness morphed into a multimillion-dollar loan to bridge the mansion's down payment, structured informally amid the urgency of their relocation. Perry, a self-made billionaire with a net worth exceeding $1 billion, viewed it as an investment in friendship, not philanthropy. As years passed, however, repayments faltered, strained by the couple's mounting expenses. Recent reports from outlets like the Daily Mail highlight Perry's growing frostiness. In a December 2024 interview with the Sunday Times, he curtly dismissed queries about his aid, saying there was nothing to prepare them for. This reticence, some speculate, masked simmering resentment over unpaid dues. YouTube channels and social media buzz with unverified claims of a $16 million showdown, alleging Perry's demand stems from accrued interest and ignored reminders. Balanced against this, Sussex supporters argue it's tabloid exaggeration, pointing to Perry's godfather role to Liet as evidence of enduring bonds. Yet, financial analysts note the mansion's value has appreciated to over $20 million, making it prime collateral. The property, once a symbol of liberation, now embodies irony, a debt-fueled dream threatening to foreclosure on their narrative of self-sufficiency. Perry's 30-day clock ticks, the mansion's opulent walls whisper of vulnerabilities long concealed. Neighbors in Montecito have voiced frustrations with reports of disputes over the estate's upkeep amid skyrocketing costs. The Sussexes' unlucky mansion, as dubbed by some media, has faced challenges from natural disasters to high maintenance, adding to the financial burden. Hidden costs, including annual property taxes exceeding $200,000 and security expenses, have reportedly strained their resources. Quora discussions and forums speculate on secret debts, though Forbes estimates their net worth at $60 million, countering claims of dire straits. Still, the loan saga underscores a shift from royal backing to reliant on Hollywood favors, with Perry's outburst amplifying the narrative of overextension. Users have piled on with posts labeling it a scam and demanding transparency. The mansion's purchase, facilitated by a Fendel $1 million mortgage, highlights the couple's leveraging strategy. But as interest rates climb, sustainability questions mount. Perry's role, once celebrated in Harry's memoir, Spare, now sour with insiders alleging Meghan used his generosity as a stepping stone. This part of the story isn't just about real estate. It's about the erosion of trust in a town where image is currency. But Perry's claim illuminates only one thread in a tangled financial web, with the Sussexes allegedly drawing from a mosaic of lenders to secure their slice of paradise. The 14 Dindo Sit $65 million price tag demanded ingenuity, and whispers from Hollywood's elite circles suggest borrowings from tech titans, producers, and even distant royal sympathizers. One source speaking anonymously to Radar Online alleges a Silicon Valley mogul extended millions lured by promises of Archwell collaborations that fizzled amid creative rifts. Another veteran entertainment figure reportedly covered escrow fees in exchange for production stakes, only to see returns evaporate. These weren't sterile bank loans, but handshake deals among the affluent, predicated on the Sussex brand's luster, post-royal allure blending celebrity with activism. Yet, as documented in Forbes analyses from mid-2025, over-leveraging became evident. Refinanced mortgages at premium rates, credit lines against anticipated Netflix and Spotify windfalls. The couple's estimated $60 million net worth, bolstered by Harry's inheritance from Diana and early deals, proved insufficient against Montecito's stratosphere. Tabloid reports like those on Vocal Media float figures of $16 million owed to Perry alone. Though skeptics from Harper's Bazaar counter that such sums are inflated for clicks. Representing the other side, Sussex-aligned media like People magazine emphasizes their independence, noting no public funds post-exit. Still, the patchwork funding raises eyebrows. IRS scrutiny of Archewell as per ProPublica filings hints at blurred lines between personal assets and charitable ones, with the mansion occasionally dubbed a headquarters for tax perks. Lenders growing warious move as a catalyst. Will they follow suit? In this ecosystem of favors, trust erodes fast, turning allies into adversaries. The borrowings, once bridges to stability, now form a noose, tightening as projects underperform and investigations loom. Perry's public salvo not only spotlights his grievance, but invites others to air theirs, potentially cascading into a full exposure of the Sussexes' fiscal house of cards. Staff cuts at Archewell, reported by New Idea, signal deeper troubles, with the couple slashing roles to stem financial strain amid lavish lifestyles. Eye-watering bills, including security and upkeep, have been laid bare, with experts warning of a time bomb as deals dry up. X discussions amplify this, with users speculating on secret debts prompting potential sales. Balanced views from Quora dismiss dire claims, citing their wealth. But persistent rumors of $11 million hidden obligations persist. The web extends beyond Perry. Reports of Prince Harry's $12 million settlement aiding cash flow, yet expenses soar. In Hollywood, where fortunes flip, this mosaic of loans reveals vulnerability. With Perry's demand as the spark, the unraveling accelerated as ventures crumbled. Each failure a domino toppling the next in a cascade of unmet expectations. Archewell, launched in 2020 as a beacon of compassion and content, promised a media philanthropy hybrid, but devolved into a quagmire of red ink. Tax filings unearthed by the Daily Mail revealed 2024 expenses ballooning to $5.1 million, while donations plummeted to $2.1 million, a stark reversal from prior years. Sources attribute this to lavish outlays, private jets, high-profile events, and salaries for a revolving door of staff. The IRS probe, resolved from a 2024 delinquency, but lingering in audits per NBC News, scrutinizes potential misallocations, with whistleblowers alleging commingled funds. Spotify's $20 million deal imploded after archetypes faltered. Criticized for low ratings and executive clashes, Bill Simmons labeled them grifters in a 2023 podcast. Netflix's $100 million pact yielded mixed results. Harry and Meghan docu-series drew 81.6 million hours viewed initially, but follow-ups like With Love, Meghan tanked, ranking outside the top 300 in 2025's first half with just 5.3 million views per Telegraph reports. Season 2's flop prompted renewal questions despite Marle's October 2025 insistence on continuation via Page 6. Balanced views from Good Morning America note extensions in August 2025 for new projects. Yet Forbes pegs overall performance as underwhelming, with 25.5 million hours for key titles ranking low. These misses starved revenue streams essential for debt servicing, including Perry's alleged loan. Hollywood insiders via Business Insider cite audience disconnect, superficial content amid economic woes. The failures compound, Invictus Games overspends per Reddit discussions, and Archewell's political entanglements risk tax-exempt status. Without these lifelines, repayments stall, transforming ambition into liability. Perry's demand arrives amid this drought, amplifying the irony of a couple who traded crowns for contracts only to watch both slip away. Spotify CEO suggested the deal didn't work because it failed to make consumers happy. Netflix bosses feel undercut by the $75 million deal's expensive failure. Exposed decry as humiliating, with users pointing to repeated flops. The Sussexes blame bad luck, but critics see overambition. As ventures like American Riviera Orchard struggle, the cascade continues, leaving debts unchecked. Deepening the crisis is the regulatory glare, transforming private woes into public inquests that paralyze liquidity. Archewell's 2024 delinquency notice, though rectified as per a May 2024 statement to NBC News, sparked broader IRS reviews, with ProPublica filings exposing unpaid costs spiking $800,000. Sources to GEO-TV alleged suspicions of big numbers manipulation, while YouTube channels sensationalized theft claims from exec accountants, though unsubstantiated. They fuel scrutiny. The Foundation's pivot to Archewell Philanthropies in December 2025, announced via Hollywood Reporter, involves fiscal sponsorship to streamline, but spokespeople admit inevitable redundancies per Newsweek amid $9 million losses. Auditors probe deductions, including mansion-related expenses framed as operational, blurring home and hub. Former staff interviews leaked to Radar Online depict chaos, hasty spending, ignored counsel, PR over philanthropy. This isn't benign. Asset freezes and record demands hinder loan repayments representing balance. Sussex statements to Mirror. Co-UK frame it as evolution, maintaining IRS compliance. Yet critics like those on Reddit's Keir St. Meghan Markle decry it as a slush fund, urging deeper probes. The timing of Perry's ultimatum exacerbates. With funds locked, settlement options dwindle. In celebrity finance, audits dissect myths here, revealing overreach. Perry's call out amid this risks entangling his claim in broader discoveries, turning a personal debt into a portal for exposure. By end 2024, liabilities surged over £600,000 per GEO. TVX users demand IRS action, labeling it unethical with 75% internal expenses. The rebrand to philanthropies, coinciding with 5-year anniversary, is seen by some as evasion amid Trump-era subsidy probes. Insiders claim the shift allows claiming others' work by throwing money per X discussions. Potential misuse in fake royal trips fuels calls for criminal investigation. Balanced by official statements of compliance, the glare persists, paralyzing progress. The royal schism, a festering wound since 2020, now exacerbates fiscal isolation, severing any covert safety nets. Post-Megxit, the Duchy of Cornwall's millions vanished, as clarified in ABC News reports on Charles S. funding cessation. Security and perks evaporated, leaving the Sussexes to self-fund. Yet, their barrage spare memoir, Oprah Interviews, Netflix exposes vilified the firm as obstructive per Express Co. UK. This alienated potential discreet aid. Sources to Daily Mail note Charles S. boundaries amid health issues, prioritizing monarchy over bailouts. William's stance echoes per Newsweek focusing on stability. Balanced perspectives from Quora highlight private funding permissions, but Sussex actions sealed divides. Number 2025 reconciliations materialized with Archwell's woes underscoring self-inflicted exile. Without palace buffers, debts like Perry's loom larger. Ironic for those fleeing dependents only to accrue new ones. The rifts cost no help after slandering, leaving them exposed. Exposed note ongoing royal monitoring of their actions. Press manipulation and undermining the family haven't gone unnoticed. As finances strain, the isolation bites. With no bailout in sight, as the 30-day deadline looms like a gathering storm over the sun-kissed hills of Montecito, the shadow of litigation darkens every corner of this once private dispute, transforming it from a whisper among elites into a full-blown public spectacle that could eclipse even the Megxit frenzy. Tyler Perry's legal team, according to rumors swirling on vocal media, has compiled an ironclad dossier, promissory notes, bank transfer records, and email chains that allegedly detail the multi-million-dollar loans terms, complete with accrued interest pushing the total toward that disputed $16 million figure. Though skeptics in outlets like Forbes question the sum, suggesting it might be inflated by tabloid hype or misreported as closer to $7 million based on earlier anonymous leaks. If this escalates to court as Perry's radio ultimatum threatens, the Sussexes' finances would be laid bare under the harsh glare of discovery processes per legal experts cited in the Express and NPR analyses of similar high-profile cases. Tax returns, asset inventories, and deal breakdowns exposed for all to scrutinize, potentially revealing a labyrinth of other borrowings from Hollywood insiders and tech moguls. The ongoing Archwell investigations add a layer of peril. IRS probes into the foundation's reported £1.9 million losses and restructuring to Archwell Philanthropies as detailed in Hollywood Reporter and Newsweek could entwine with subpoenas, freezing assets and complicating any defense. Speculation runs rampant on outcomes. A hushed settlement to preserve face perhaps funded by liquidating jewelry or Harry's recent $12 million payout from his tabloid lawsuits against News Group newspapers as reported by Markle, or a protracted battle that drags in witnesses exposing the full extent of their patchwork debts and failed ventures like the Netflix deal's precarious renewal amid financial blows per New York Post insiders. Perry's motive source is close to Sky News Australia insist is pure accountability. A self-made mogul enforcing boundaries in a world where favors too often go unpaid. not personal vendetta despite his godfather ties. The Sussexes' deafening silence only fuels the media frenzy, with royal watchers on Quora and Facebook speculating it masks frantic negotiations or asset hunts. A court showdown could utterly demystify their empire, proving that debts like royal scandals refuse to defer indefinitely. Users in threads buzzing since early December predict 2026 as a good year for revelations, with hashtags like his Sussex debt drama trending amid calls for transparency. The specter of liens on the mansion hovers ominously, potentially forcing a sale of their $20 million appreciating asset as valued in recent Forbes estimates, turning their haven into a casualty of unchecked ambition. The hush before this upheaval is palpable. A tense interlude where Perry's airwave bombshell reignites embers of years-long strains, friendships frayed, deals dissolved, and a narrative of independence now exposed as illusionary. The Montecito mansion, once a gleaming symbol of aspiration and escape from palace protocols, now epitomizes overreach. Sits $65 million testament to borrowed glory. Its rose gardens and ocean views masking mounting upkeep costs exceeding $200,000 annually in taxes alone, as per LA Magazine and the news reports. As anonymous leaks persist through channels like Radar Online and Daily Mail, detailing staff redundancies at Archewell amid inevitable cuts to stem losses, the tale evolves from glittering intrigue to stark admonition, a cautionary fable of Hollywood dreams colliding with fiscal reality. Will they liquidate assets? Perhaps Harry's Diana inheritance or Meghan's suit's residuals to avert disaster or litigate, risking further exposure in a town where reputations shatter like glass. The royals observe from distant Windsor, King Charles, and Prince William reportedly prioritizing institutional stability over bailouts. As Fox News chronicles the year's bombshells, including title strips and reconciliations that never fully materialized. Hollywood, ever the opportunistic vulture, orbits with producers eyeing docuseries on the fallout. While divorce speculations in outlets like the News add personal peril, William allegedly prepping contingency plans should the marriage falter under strain. For the Sussexes, this crucible tests not just solveny, but legacy. The story they sold of empowerment versus the unraveling truth of entanglement. Debt, like buried truth, always demands its settlement, clawing to the surface with relentless force. As time expires on Perry's clock, the world holds its breath for the next chapter in this unfolding drama, where silence breaks not with whispers, but with reckonings that echo across oceans and headlines.